Hey there, it's Anna. Welcome back to the garden. Thought I'd start off another little vlog today. This one's going to be a little bit different because there's going to be a little jump in time. I'm starting it off at the beginning of the week here, but then we're going out of town just for a couple days. So probably pop back in afterwards and we can see how much the garden has changed. So many beautiful things blooming. It's just a gorgeous morning right now. You can see I've been just sitting out here watching the bumblebees kind of go all over. I see tomatoes ripening. I'm hoping that we'll be able to start doing some real harvests pretty soon here, because I can see peppers getting going, tomatoes ripening. Things are really starting to happen. And I should probably go over to the plot and see what's going on over there, because honestly we've kind of neglected it this year. I threw in a bunch of tomatoes and some pumpkins and kind of just have left it, but we've been getting lots of rain, so it's probably doing okay. It's probably pretty weedy. Anyways, let me show you some really fun things, some really beautiful blooms. The dahlias are just stunning right now. They are absolutely everything. So gorgeous. Even as they're opening up, I think they're really beautiful. Gorgeous little flowers and buds. I love them here paired with this verbena that I have down here. I forget the specific variety of this verbena, but it's really lovely. And verbena is an annual in zone 7. So we're right on the edge here. I'm zone 7A. But verbenas will usually do 7 to I think 9 or 10 typically. This one is supposed to get a little bit taller, but it's kind of stunted, probably because it's not the ideal condition there. But it's absolutely gorgeous with this kind of orangey, yellow, red dahlia, which also isn't my typical color scheme, but I think is really beautiful. I'm actually thinking that I may lean more towards these kind of faded autumn-like colors next season. I've absolutely been enjoying this Gomphrena as well, which is in the same sort of tones. They're a beautiful step down from each other. Look at that view, right? So nice. So I'm loving these colors, and I definitely think we're gonna be doing more of this next year. This is the Truffula Pink Gomphrena. Really nice plant, 22 to 28 inches. And yeah, just a full sun, beautiful little flower, very much in this vibe and color scheme. I wanted to kind of take a look at my little perennial area here, because hopefully in this next few weeks that area is going to really take off and start blooming. But I've got some snake root. You can see that dark plant. I'll move a little closer. We've got snake root here. This gets a white flower at the end of the season, at the very end of the season. Black-eyed Susans, which I can tell are starting to think about blooming. A really gorgeous phlox, bubblegum pink phlox. And then there's a few scouring rushes in there, a few other things. I think this is a Gara that will get a white flower. And then we have more of the dahlias. These are all the Figaro mixed dahlia, and I'm coming around the other side. I've talked about them before, but they're really pretty seed dahlia. That is a perennial for me here in my zone 7A. Now, there's more Black-eyed Susans over here, and I did put in a couple containers. So there's one there, and there's actually one on the other, right behind the phlox, but you can't really see it. And I have to think of something to do with them. Behind those containers, you can just see poking up a Mexican sunflower plant that is going to really take off toward the end of the season. So the perennial area is really fun, and it really does peak kind of into that late July, August. August is really when it takes off. That Mexican sunflower, which creates this 8-9 foot plant that has these beautiful red kind of just single flower red flowers. Looks sort of like a sunflower, but they're not super sunflower-y, but really gorgeous. They created trees in the garden last year. They take a little while to get going, so I'm not surprised that that one is just now starting to take off, but hopefully it'll really fill in that corner and be this big huge red flowering tree essentially. But yeah, that area is kind of I think it's beautiful. It's a mix of tones and textures, but doesn't really take off until a little later. The pots, so you saw the one, and then there's like another one that I put a dahlia. I think it was a cactus mixed dahlia, which I can sort of see growing up through the phlox, but I'm not really sure. I think I might get some Russian sage plants and put them in those pots. I've tried to grow Russian sage in the ground here, but as you know, we get tons and tons of rain. And so the Russian sage does not love super, super rainy, wet soil. And that's kind of like the lowest corner of the garden down there. Everything sort of slants down into that corner. I've tried my best to make it to like build up the soil so it's not a huge slant, but it gets wet down there. So every time I try to grow Russian sage, it doesn't love it. But I may go see if I can get a couple plants, like maybe, you know, as we get in here, big planting season is starting to end, things start to go on sale. I may see if I can get some Russian sage and put it in there, because I think that kind of like gray foliage and then the blue purple flowers would be really pretty. I've added so much purple and blue into the garden this year that I'm gonna have to be careful next year, because I've got the Stillwater clematis that's gonna be blue, and then I'm looking at my Pugster blue butterfly bush, which I just planted into a grow bag. I'll show you how that's looking. But yeah, I gotta watch the blue, but I think that the Russian sage would be perfect. So we may go to the garden center and go grab some Russian sage for those pots, at least for the one where the zinnias aren't doing anything, because I think those seedlings are just they're not getting what they needed, whether they didn't get enough sunlight or water or whatever. You know me, if it's not working after a certain point, I just call it and try something new. Let me show you the butterfly bush while I'm thinking about it. Okay, so here's the Pugster blue. I think it's the blue. Yeah, Pugster blue. I gotta take off the tag. Absolutely love this guy. So gorgeous, loaded with flowers, doing really, really well. Super happy. And I mixed it with some of my bubblegum pink super tunias, and I love this combination. I mean, isn't that just, I wish I could, let me go back a little bit so you can see how perfect. The pink with the blue here, and I think it's just gonna keep like spilling out and trailing over. This may have to be a repeat. I really love pink, at least something pink with this blue. May definitely have to be a repeat. But those are my favorite color tones. I come back to it time and time again. Pink, blue, and then yellow always looks good. I ended up being pretty heavy on the pink. I got a lot of pink plants, and then I ended up getting a lot of these blue perennials now. But at least I have the sunflowers, and I'm gonna do a lot more of those. The Suncredible sunflowers. I think I want to line this whole bed next year with them, and that'll be really pretty with the Gomphrena too. Like, I don't know. I'm already just so planning next year's garden. But the last thing I want to show you today is the zinnias. First of the zinnias are blooming, which feels late. This feels late this year, but it's happening. Zinnias are a gorgeous bud too. Here's the first. These are the Lilliput zinnias, so they are much shorter zinnia. I can see the first bud coming. Looks like maybe we've got a pink one, and then a bunch more buds on these. So that's good to see. I tried to reseed them, and like, look, very poor germination. So I don't know what is going on with that. I've tried to be consistent with watering. Maybe it's me, maybe it's my watering this year or something, or it wasn't warm enough. I don't know. But some zinnias are blooming, so hopefully by the time we get to the end of this vlog, by the time I get back from our little weekend trip, those zinnias will be blooming. Let's hope. Anyways, I'm just gonna go sit in the garden, watch all these pollinators, see how many butterflies, oh, you hear the sirens, see how many butterflies land on the butterfly bush, and I'll see you soon. Hey, so I am sneaking out here to do a couple quick things before we get ready to go out of town. One super exciting find I found my second clematis. So I have been wanting a second Stillwater clematis to go. I'm gonna have one on either side of this arch trellis. And look, it's so beautiful. It's just got one bloom on it right now, but I'm sure there'll be many, many more. And it's just such a pretty plant. Gorgeous, continuous blooming throughout the season. Absolutely stunning. And so now I have two, and I'm very excited about this. I even found it on sale too, which was kind of nice. We're starting to get into that season where things are on sale, so that's kind of fun. I was thinking I might even have to just order one online because they're kind of hard to find, but it was there waiting for me. So the last one is super exciting to find that. The other thing I'm doing today is I'm going to spread some of my worm compost. So these are worm castings, worm compost that I made myself in my worm bin. Over on Instagram I have a few more, like a highlight and a couple reels about it. But yeah, this is from my own worm compost, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to spread that over the garden just to kind of give everything a little bit of something, you know, something good, little few goodies. I put a couple of them in some of my containers. I got these little adorable tomato plants, and so I've just kind of been like just mulching over the top of some of the containers a little bit with that, just to kind of give them a little something extra. And then I'm gonna throw a little bit in the beds as well, just to get that all going. I did check on my potatoes because honestly the plants, I think they got a little underwatered, so they're looking a little bit rough. Sorry if you can hear, the neighbors' kids are out playing and they're kind of screaming, but the plants are still alive. And I just checked the potatoes. This was one of the potatoes I got. It's like a pinto tomato, potato. So it's got kind of like those spots on it. So that's part of the variety. But I don't think they're quite ready. I think I'm gonna leave them in. I was worried since I'm gonna be gone for a few days, I didn't wanna miss it in case like they were all ready to go. I didn't wanna end up with, you know, them rotting or something in the container, but they're still pretty small. So I'm gonna at least wait until I get back, and then I will harvest them. They have not flowered, but as I said, I think they missed watering or something a couple times, so they're looking kind of rough. So I'd rather make sure I catch at least, you know, because even those little baby tomatoes will be, baby potatoes. Oh my goodness, potatoes. Even the baby potatoes are delicious. It's kind of just like a fingerling potato, right? So that's totally fine. But I am gonna wait. I think they'll survive like the next 4 days or so. So once I get back, we'll check in and see. Maybe I will harvest those, and maybe we'll have the more blooms on the perennials. We'll see. But now I'm just going to go spread these worm castings everywhere and just kind of poke around the garden. Everything's going to be getting a super, super good water. And I'm just going to keep really, really watering everything, and then we're just gone for a couple days. So shouldn't be a problem with that. But yeah, had to share that exciting find of the clematis because I was super excited to see that. I've been really searching it out and super excited I finally found it. I keep thinking I'm gonna finish this vlog after we get back from our trip, but then things keep happening and I keep finding plants that I have to show you guys. So my grocery store had these adorable little sunflowers. They're just called sunflower. I don't know what variety it is, but it looks like it's a branching sunflower. So I typically won't buy a sunflower that is just like, oh, got my tripod right here. A sunflower that is just, you know, a single flower, because to me it's like I might as well just start that from a seed. It's only going to bloom for that short period of time. But a branching sunflower is, you know, a better investment. These are like $5 each, so that seemed totally worth it to me. So I put one here in a pot because I thought this was so cute, and that way I can put it over here next to the butterfly bush, and I think that's going to be really pretty. And then the other two I'm actually going to put into this other garden bed. So the other two I'm gonna put in these holes. I had this little mini gomphrena in there, but I ended up putting that in a pot because it was kind of getting swallowed. It was kind of getting swallowed by the zinnias and the peppers. Oh my gosh, it's starting to rain. So I figured I would just put this sunflowers in here.
Girly
girls out here with me, and that'll look really pretty. Don't pick it, don't pick it. That'll be pretty in here and help on this border, because this border is getting taller than I first imagined, so it's just kind of evolving in this bed. Plus it's got to keep up with, I did put a squash in the corner of this bed, which was, you know, a little optimistic, but it is the reckless garden after all. But I think that pairs really well with the gomphrena and anything. Maybe just the one there, and maybe I'll find another spot for the other one. I've got to hurry with this decision making though, because I do really want to get these all planted before we go. It's starting to rain. Okay, I'm gonna plant this guy and then I'll get back to you where I decide to plant the third one. Hey, so I am not at the garden right now, but I wanted to stop and just wrap up this vlog while I'm away. I got everything planted, got those sunflowers in the ground, and then we had a huge thunderstorm come in. So I'll insert a couple photos of where I ended up putting that third one. So I got the one in the flower bed, got a sandwich here too. I got the one in the flower bed, which I love the way it looks. I think it's absolutely beautiful there, kind of nice little capstone right in the middle of the bed. Of course, the one that I had in a pot, and then I popped the other one in another pot and moved those little gomphrena into the base of the pot, and I think it'll actually be kind of a nice little container, that bright kind of purpley pink look, and those gomphrena won't get more than 8 inches. And then the sunflower, of course, blooming yellow up above, I think is going to be just kind of perfect and really lovely. So that's the plan, or that's how it ended up turning out. I'm just enjoying my little weekend away from the garden, although I already kind of miss my sunflowers a little bit, but it's beautiful to get away, and it's always good, you know, get a little inspiration. I'm at this beautiful little town and there's so many gorgeous gardens, so I'm just checking out all that inspiration. But just want to wrap up the vlog. I will check back in with you once I get back to the garden and see how everything's growing. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.